Hi, it's Cory, and this is Let's Play Ukulele Book 1, Lesson 2, the parts of the ukulele. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about the different parts of the ukulele and their general function. This video is meant to be used along with the Let's Play Ukulele Workbook 1, Lesson 2. If you don't have that workbook already, you can check it out at my Patreon page, which everyone gets access to it for being a member of that community, or it's also available on Teachers Pay Teachers. So let's get started. This is a concert-sized ukulele, but regardless of the different size ukulele you're using, all the different parts are going to be the same. We're going to break this ukulele up into 3 different parts. We have the head of the ukulele, the neck of the ukulele, and then the body of the ukulele. Let's look at the head first. On the head of the ukulele, there's only really 2 main sections you need to be aware of: the tuning pegs and then also the nut. The tuning pegs are responsible for changing the length of the strings. You either, depending on the side, will turn the tuning peg up or down to lengthen the string, which makes the pitch higher, or to loosen the string, which makes the pitch lower. Each string is connected to its own specific tuning peg. When tuning, you want to make sure to turn it slowly, because depending on the ukulele, it could potentially damage the instrument if you turn it too drastically. The nut of the ukulele also has a really important job. Its job is to not only get the strings up and off of the neck and fretboard, but also in the nut, there are very small little grooves that keep the strings in place. Let's move on to the neck. On the neck of the ukulele, there are a lot of really important sections, and it's typically the area that you interact with the most when playing. So the entire front section of the neck is called the fretboard. The reason why it's called the fretboard is because it contains the frets, the fret wires, in addition to the fret markers as well. You can see here on a close-up of my ukulele, the frets are the areas between these fret wires. The areas between the fret wires, that's what creates the frets, and that's where you put your fingers when creating chords or making individual pitches to pluck. The fret wires go horizontally along the fretboard, and on this ukulele they happen to be silver, but they can be black or really any other color as well. You also have the fret markers. Fret markers tend to be on the 5th, 7th, and 9th frets often, but they will change. Sometimes they're even really cool designs on different ukuleles as well. Now, it's not standard on all ukuleles, but you can also see that there are little white dots, and those are on the same frets as the fret markers as well. They are just like side fret markers. The benefit of those markers is that if you're holding the ukulele here, you really shouldn't be looking directly at the fretboard. But if you have to jump between frets really easily, you can see the markings on the side of the ukulele, and then you can easily get to the fret that you need. With the fretboard as well, it's really important to remember when you are putting your fingers on the fret, you really want to make sure you're using the very tips of your fingers, not the pad. You might be able to see on my fingers, I have little calluses at the tips of my fingers, especially my middle finger here. It's really common to get calluses on your fingers, but again, you want to use the very, very tip part, because if you use the flat side, you're often going to be pressing down on other strings that you don't want to when making your chords. Let's take a look at the body. Bodies on ukuleles will vary in size and shape. There are ukuleles that are the standard shape like this. Also, there are triangle ukuleles, circle ukuleles, pineapple ukuleles, and each of those different shapes sound a little bit differently. The larger the ukulele body, the more the sound waves are going to vibrate and resonate within the ukulele body, which often will result in a deeper sound. Soprano ukuleles, because they're so much smaller, they often have brighter sounds because they're not vibrating as much. Whereas larger ukuleles like a baritone or a tenor ukulele are going to have a much richer sound and also just be louder. The bigger the body, the louder the sound is generally. On the body, we also have the sound hole. That's where the sound goes in and vibrates around inside. There's also the bridge and the saddle. The bridge has an important job because it houses the strings and it secures them to the ukulele on the bottom part. Now, this might look different depending on the ukulele. Sometimes the strings actually go inside the bridge. Other times they just come out the bottom, like you can see here. Then there's also the saddle. The saddle is very important and it actually works the same as the nut in a lot of ways. It helps to keep the ukulele strings up and off of the fretboard, but like the nut, it has little grooves inside that secure the strings from moving around. The next step would be to go to your ukulele workbook and fill in your ukulele, labeling the major parts of the instrument. Then there are some matching sections and a few short questions that you can answer. I hope you found this informative, and I will see you in lesson 3, how to hold the ukulele.